Dun, 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 dun. Welcome to Crypto Night in Canada, everybody. Why do we have feedback?
I don't know.
How is everybody tonight?
Good.
Stop doing that. Holy ladies and gentlemen, if you'd seen the pre-show, everyone's going.
Anyway,
and it's like, stop doing that crap, especially when we've got live up in the corner. It's like, that's not
you
funny.
Guys, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us again tonight. We've got the freaking Oracle, Ken in the house, Candace Mountain from the Financial Brew, and Haas Hoddles is here. Haas, how are you?
Not doing too bad. How are you?
Good. We're good, and it's nice to see you. It's been about a few months, anyways. I think I saw you back in September on your show.
Yep. It's been a busy time between that point. A lot of work and trying to stay up to date with everything. But obviously, market dips are market dips for the time being. So I'm not really stressing in any kind of way.
No, but I bet you got a lot of people that have come on your show or in your comments that are freaking out about what's happening with the crypto market. Are you freaked out?
I think I've conditioned a lot of my viewers because a lot of them now just say that it's a buying opportunity. So I've trained them well, I guess. I'm not freaking out. Maybe it's because of my buy-in point. But at this point, I have no worries, and I don't think anyone else should have a worry. Even if we go down a little bit further, we have plenty of support at these levels. So I'm not particularly worried.
Awesome.
Neither am I.
Well, I see a few folks in the chat. Ryan's in the house. Riley, Marie-Claude, Journey's here. Awesome. Nice to see everybody. Jason was here nice and early. It's good to see everybody. Wanted to start off by just, and Gary Matthews is here. And I think somebody by the name of Ram Rider. I'm not sure if we've seen Ram Rider before. Anyways, welcome everybody. Well, I want to start to talk about like a little bit of a leftover conversation from last week's discussion where we talked about AR and versus VR. And I mean, Haas, you were the first guy on our show to show us Decentraland, so I'm hoping that this is going to be right up your alley. But Tim, I did another PowerPoint presentation, so Tim's going to pull that up for a sec. And this one's going to be much shorter, but I thought it was kind of interesting since we posted last week. Everything I'm showing you tonight is all stuff that came into my Facebook feed, all ads from my Facebook feed. I didn't go searching for any of this. This is just what came in. So I know that there was a lot of people. I mean, we were talking to Marie-Claude on Ken's little live stream on Friday night, and she was saying that she feels like this whole is way out. It won't be here in her lifetime. So Marie-Claude, I did this with you in mind. Hope you like it. So if you can go ahead and share your screen, Tim. There's no real music or anything this time. So we'll just talk about what I found. Okay. And then we've got dead silence. All righty. So, present.
Yeah, doing it. Gotta love the speed at which this rolls. There you go.
Can you guys see it? Because we only see the virtual reality piece. Do you guys see this?
They're making fun of us.
Yeah, we sure can. Yeah.
Okay. So this is, if you just go to Tim's giving me the evil stink eye. Okay. So again, I think this is not so far away. Next. Tim.
I am. It's the computer.
Oh.
See, it says processing.
Oh. Okay. Okay, so this was one of the first ones that I got, and I tried to lump them together in kind of groupings and ideas. So this one was a spine-chilling, engaging puzzles and riddle game. Again, just showing that even these basic concept. Oh my gosh, this is so bad. This is taking so long. Okay, so now Tim, if you could click on that button up there.
With a barely recognizable atmosphere, you find yourself in a twisted reality. With a ticking clock and no one to help you, you must keep your wits in these unusual circumstances. This virtual escape room, filled with spine-chilling, engaging puzzles and riddles, is the ultimate experience. Will your team be the fastest? There is only one way to find out. Get your voucher now on virtualescaping.com.
So that was the very first thing that came up, which led me down this path. Go to the next button there. All right. Then I got this one came up, which was all regarding this virtual reality, swimming with the sharks. Again, it's that one. Should be able to click on it.
It's blank. There we go.
All righty.
Oh, so, now we're going to get in the water with sharks?
Yes.
Oh, dear God.
So remember last week, I'll get Tim to go to the next page because it'll take forever, but remember last week, one of the videos we saw was of kids in school and really getting immersed in the learning experience. So not only did I get one, I got two of these ads that came up from two separate companies, both with the Let's Explore the Ocean. And when you watch this next one, you'll see that it's not really all that different from when you watch a discovery video of sharks. And the only thing is you're now in it and surrounded by it. So this is what I mean about the technology is really improving. So if you want to go like this. So you're seeing, like, I didn't go looking for any of this. It just came in at us. This one has come up so often, this VR wave, the Oculus Quest 2 lens. And now they're even showing you, this one, what was so cool about it is they're actually going to put prescription lenses so that you can make the experience even better. So if you have to see things with a prescription or the readers, you can. So if you want to click on that one.
Feeling objects in VR is really cool, but it's also important to actually see everything. And if you wear glasses, sometimes that can be a little tricky. But check out this really cool solution by VR Wave. They make tailor-made lenses for VR headsets for prescriptions, like the Quest 2, Reverb, and Index. And they attach magnetically, so they're super easy to swap in and out. And they also have this really cool blue light filter, so they can prevent sleep disorders and eye strain while you're using VR. You can check them out at vr-wave.store, and they ship worldwide.
So it was just so incredible that as we were talking about this last week, now this is all coming up. Next slide, please. This one, I don't actually think I have a video for this one other than going to the website, but this thing is a suit, a vest that when you put it on, you're going to feel the music. You're going to feel the moves. You're going to really feel the experience of what's going on. So we'll go to the next one. Okay. This one is really cool, but again, it goes to this whole idea of, this one is the use of drone technology. And it's not virtual reality or augmented, but it just goes to show what they're even doing with the drones and that kind of stuff. it's now coming in the toys and all sorts of stuff. Next one. This was really interesting to me. I got 3 different separate ads come up. Roblox, safety, learn to code with games. So this is, again, when you go back and think about what we showed with that little girl in the school scenario, here they're actually putting an ad out for teaching kids how to program in this world. So if you want to click on that. So again, we're now indoctrinating the kids. They're teaching them young. Next slide, honey. This one, I don't know if there's another one. Oh, there is another one.
They were at the UFT.
They're 2 separate, not that related to each other, but the University of Toronto, the AR and VR development in 10 weeks. I clicked on it. There was no video. But then I got another one right after this one was the Quest 2. So you can click on that one.
This is the Oculus.
The Oculus one. Again, just an ad. Nothing's been due for us, but it's coming. We're here. It's launching.
What was that word?
Launching?
No.
Go to the next slide, honey.
You know what? There you go.
You went backwards. We're good at this game. Can you tell? Professional status over here. All right. So then it moves out of the learning, the gaming, that kind of stuff. And then it takes virtual reality to the next level. There is a video here. This one is the athletic, how they using a virtual reality or augmented reality for exercise. So
what happened?
It's okay. You went to a website. Sorry, folks. Tam Danter, stop that.
This is
yeah. See, I heard in Toronto. I said I heard in Toronto. They use that VR reality so they could see what it would actually look like to have the cup, since that's the only way it'll ever happen.
That's good. That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm going to tell that to my parents.
That is good. Okay.
No, this is not going to work.
Okay, go back to the here. So X out of this. X out of this. Sorry, guys. This did work faster on my computer, but for whatever reason, poor Tim's got troubles here. But this gives you just a quick little video. It's just their promo of what it's going to look like. So this one, like, they're having the vision that they've got lifesavers or something, but they're killing off the asteroids or whatever, and it's all just using the virtual reality. I know this one isn't very good, so let's click back to the presentation.
Brian, I don't know what's going on. You've messed up my computer here.
I'm just sitting here. Okay, so I'm sorry. This is
bad.
Next time I'll just stay in my office and I'll share. All right, next slide. Whoops. Okay, so then this was a quick little video. Nothing's quick tonight. On how Meta works. And again, all came up on my Facebook feed.
You want me to click that?
You know, you don't have to be a smart ass about it.
I'm filling the dead air. Holy banana bread, as I've heard.
Yes.
Holy shit. I'm drawing a blank. Oh, there we go.
on to the next one. But at least we can laugh at this.
You guys remember the Cole Snopes?
So this one that's coming up next, if it, maybe sometime tomorrow it'll come up, was all about how mental health professionals were going to be using it. And again, we don't have to click on the video because that seems to be causing distress for you, Tim.
Well, we're not.
But I'll just say that this was another ad that came up, and it was to help diagnose using the VR technology. Next slide. This one was interesting. This is a new app that was, do you know about Fold?
I do.
Partnered with Niantic to create AR-based Bitcoin rewards app. So we'll go on because I don't want to.
I do. I get messages for Fold.
Niantic being the app company that did Pokemon Go for context for everyone.
Oh.
Yeah. So thank God we have some experts and not just people putting ads up like me.
I'm too much of a nerd.
No. Okay, but this one I do want to show that this came up in my, again, Facebook feed. Click on the video on this one. This is showcasing how they're using this VR and AR technology in, like, it's for designers. It's for selling homes, for doing tours, the whole 9 yards. Next slide. There's 2 more on, and I promise we won't do this painful thing again. Whoops, you've gone the other way, babe. And this one, oh boy, we may end up just stopping this at this point. Oh, here it comes.
One more slide, you gotta laugh.
Well, you do. This one was actually really good. This one, the next 2 were super interesting. Well, here we go. This is Join Earth's first metaverse. So Earth 2.
That's what Hodge showed us.
This is earth2.io, and it's part of the metaverse. There is one more video, hope to God. This one, it might take a bit of time to come up, but this one's called METAVERSE. Wants to make executive travel obsolete with its business metaverse for people who would ordinarily be jetting around the world. The Miami-based company is the largest to create a 3D platform where business people can create their own avatars and stage meetings, events, showrooms, and training sessions in a virtual space. Yes, if you want to click on that video. Anyways, you can stop sharing now. So that was my little follow-up, albeit in slow motion. I apologize about that, technology being what it is. But the point of it was, the whole point of me finding this was, it came into my Facebook feed. I didn't have to actually go looking for any of this. It all was up in my Facebook feed. Second thing is, when you start to line it all up the way that I did, you're starting to see that it is literally here. It's not something that's out there. And I'm so grateful, Hawes, that you showed us that Decentraland in the summer, and that we were able to get some insight. And then I started to build the narrative in my mind about what's happening, and it excites the bejeebies out of me. How are you guys feeling about all of that?
No, it's pretty cool. It's definitely here. I'm seeing it myself as well everywhere. Even with last week in the top 7 that we did, I kept running into my coins every single place I went, like quite literally multiple times a day.
Yeah, no, it's true. So Haz, are you seeing all of this too?
I'd say, like, especially in my professional life, working in the insurance company, it's a weird shift now, because a lot of our tasks are now able to work from home. Which is really creating an odd dynamic for the company, not seeing people in person. And that's kind of making waves in management and upper levels. So there's a need for us to move virtual in some capacity in the business world, even if we're not talking about gamification or game style VR. But I've said this since the HTC Vive, the first viable VR, came out. Since that came out, VR is going to be the future. It's obvious the future for media, for gaming, for virtual meetings across the world. Just seems like the next step.
Yeah, no, it's true. Ken, does this excite you, or is this like frightening for you?
It's neither here nor there for me. It doesn't.
As long as he's making money, he's happy.
It doesn't do nothing. Well, so it's interesting because Saitama, part of the Theta mask is the educational portion of it. And they're looking at building VR simulators for the Saudi Arabia oil fields and whatnot, so that they can actually train their people using it without causing death or, billions of dollars in destruction. So it's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. So Marie-Claude, I'm glad you said that. Anyways, so okay, Candace, last week after I did the whole thing on the VR and AR and all that sort of stuff, you'd put out your 7 picks coins that you thought would be really taking the world by a storm based on this information. Do you still feel that way?
There's been some changes.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, I was wondering if you wanted to go into what you think.
Yeah, what I've done here is, bring it back up there, Tim. Perfect. What I've done is I've actually expanded it to a top 10. And I know I was talking to Nancy earlier today, and this whole metaverse and these coins, they're going to be changing weekly. So if you guys want, I can just update this list every single week for you. It's not a big problem.
Yes.
Perfect. So let's sit through these top 10 here for you guys, so you can sort of see what we have. All right. So I'll give you the coin, the symbol, and I'm also going to give you the return on investment that each one of these coins received in the last week. So when we start at number 10, it's going to be Axie Infinity. So AXS, it only had a 4% return on investment. So if you guys remember last week, it was at number 7. So it actually fell in our list a little bit. Good old Axie. At number 9, we have a newcomer.
Why would you say it fell?
Part of it is just that there's so many other coins that people are jumping onto because they have a easier access to get into them. They're much cheaper.
What's
like Axie,
the price of Axie right now?
Something like $140. It's
why,
up there.
That's why it dropped.
Yeah, I think so. All right. Now we got Polka City. This is not a polka dot coin. POLC, it had a return of investment over the week of 40%. So it is basically, it's a city. You can go in, you can buy stuff, you can, well, this one's actually interesting. You actually can earn by exploring, by buying, by providing services. You can own a taxi. There's all kinds of things you can do in Polka City that will all return you the POLC coin, which is kind of neat. So that's number 9. Number 8, we have my neighbor Alice. So ALICE. ALICE. I had 100% return last week. Now this here, this is basically Farmville on steroids.
Oh,
So you can go in, you can buy a farm, you can buy assets, you can buy some of the assets you can buy are like things to actually put on your avatar, and you can grow it and you can get it big. You can also take the stuff to the market and sell it. So, it's all completely, you can earn through almost everything that you do within the game.
That's the one that Neil was talking about a long time ago.
I think he was. I think he was.
Yeah.
So it's starting to pick up and came in at number 8 on our list this week. Number 7, UFO Gaming.
Yeah, I seen a huge jump on that.
Yeah, it was up 108%.
Yeah.
So massively big. It's pretty much the same as most of these games. You're buying assets, you're buying property, but it's more of a galactic feel to it. So you've got aliens, and you can breed your creatures. So whatever you can breed them and sell them.
I'm thinking this is like Neil's horse breeding.
Yeah.
Neil actually had UFO tokens. I don't know if he still does or not.
Well, in a sense, it's like the game of life, right? Because at the end of that game, you get to turn your kids in for money.
That doesn't happen in real life. Otherwise, I'd be a millionaire 10 times over if I got to turn my kids in for money.
Oh, absolutely. All right, let's move to number 6. And we've got Mana, so Decentraland. Mana hasn't been picking up as much as it has been, so it's only picked up 60%. So it is slowly declining in our list, but I think it still has a lot of potential. I think it could easily turn itself around. So next week, it'll either be lower or higher for sure. I don't think it'll be in the same spot.
Oh, we
Number
just
5.
bought some Mana.
So number 5 is Ethereum. It was at number 1 last week. Ethereum just isn't doing anything. It was only up like 0.1% over this week. It's still highly, highly important because most of these games are run on the Ethereum network. So it's always going to be important. It'll probably fall off the list because it just can't compete with some of the return on investments that some of these other ones are having. All right. Number 4 is a brand new game, Wilder World.
Oh.
So Wild, W-I-L-D. And it has a return on investment of 113%. Now, this one here, it boasts that it has an immersive 5D environment. It runs on ETH and Unreal Engine. So I think the graphic-wise, it's going to be just amazing. And I think people are really starting to gravitate towards it. Hence the reason it premiered on our list at number 4. All
wow.
Right. Top 3 time. Number 3 is Engine. Engine was at number 2 last week. They have fallen because there's been a couple of really good ones, like 1 and 2 really, really sort of made waves. Engine had a return of investment of 57%. Now, you might have to think it should have fell a bit further, but the fact that Engine and EFI, which I removed from the list, but between the two of them, the access to the Polkadot network is just, there's so much potential there. That's the reason that they came in a little bit higher. All right, number 2 is Realm. This had the biggest ROI on my list. So 341%. It's just amazing. Now, in this one here, it is another multiverse. You can earn money. First of all, you can earn money just by exploring, which is kind of cool. Then you can earn money by creating, by buying land. You can also sell your services in there. And there's also artifacts you can find as well as rare NFTs in here. Now, the interesting thing about Realm is 25% of all coins that are generated within the token, so within the tokenomics, 25% of all Realm coins are earmarked as rewards in the game.
Interesting.
So that is definitely cool. All right. So we have a new number one. It's not a new coin. It was a coin that was on the list last week.
Yeah.
It's a coin, though, that has been making waves like crazy. And it is Sandbox.
Oh.
So SAND, they had a 127% return on investment. They almost fell to number two because Realm has just been that strong. But Sandbox, they're doing well. People are buying it. And I think they have a lot of potential for some staying power. I don't see Sandbox falling out of the top 5 anytime soon. I think they're going to be a member of my list for a long time to come.
Okay, so let me ask you, how did you, because if you just looked at ROI, that mustn't have been how you based your decision. It had to have been on other factors, because otherwise this list would have looked different.
Oh, exactly. I mean, if it was just ROI, I would just send you over to any one of the charts and say, yeah, do a search yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that I take into place. One is usability, functionality of the coin, what it does. The other is the potential that it has in the market, whether it's realized potential, and the realized potential is your ROI, but also unrealized potential. So, for example, when I mentioned Engine, when it works with EFI to utilize the Polkadot network, that creates just some insane potential for Engine. That alone is what's powering its run. Because with a 57%, you'd expect it to be down around 8. And some of it too is just innovation. Like you take something like my neighbor Alice with the whole farm idea. They're pretty much the only people really doing the farm motif that I've run into. So that alone is going to reduce the competition for that particular coin. Same idea with UFO Gaming as well. But now when you take things like Wilder World, if you remember even Blocktopia from last week, they all have a lot of similar things going on with them. So that will lower them a little bit when it comes to sort of figuring out where they are. And as for Ethereum is more of an honorary member as they're sort of falling off the chart. Because I think the reason last week I wanted them at number 1 was just the fact that everything is built on top of it. Yeah. So, except for there's a few that use Polygon, a couple of other technologies, Polkadot. But for the most part, Ethereum is going to be huge no matter what. But, they'll fall off this list. They might make number 10 next week, or they may already fall off completely. Yeah. But that's kind of the reason.
I love this, Candace. I really love this. And I think that your logic, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Haas, you follow the gaming stuff, I think, because I've watched. Would any of these be in your top 10 as well?
100%. Like you hit the nail on the head with Sand, Engine, all of these. Some that I haven't even heard of, but like Alice really kind of shakes my core, because there's no farming available in crypto, and we think of how big farming is on the people who play Facebook games like that. It's a massive market. Like we're talking about billions of dollars. How rich is Zynga right now, the game company? That's how they built their fortune. So just thinking of that's a lot of potential for a token like that. But definitely some big names here.
There was a couple of questions up here. Panda had one. He was saying that whoops, sorry, I pressed the wrong thing here. There's a couple of them. Real question from Panda. Sorry, Candace, I'm blocking your face out. Your real question is, how would they hold during a bear market? How would these hold during a bear market?
Well, I'll be absolutely honest. Nobody knows, because these coins have never been through a bear market. Now, the new novelty of them and the fact that they're new means that they may survive a little bit longer before falling into a bear market than the rest of the market. But we really, honestly, it's 100% speculation as to how they're going to do once we do go into a bear market. So we're all going to kind of learn as it happens, to be honest. I'm not going to blow smoke up your panda legs there, Panda.
Oh, there you go.
Actually, I think those would actually hold up pretty good, since they actually have a use case that you can use them every day playing games. Yeah. Unlike, Polkadot or whatever, you're just kind of sitting it and holding and waiting. These tokens you can actually interact with within a game, so they keep moving all the time. So I think these here should hold up definitely in a bear market.
Yeah, and that's what my gut says, but I can't say, I don't have anything to base it on.
Yeah. Well, this is all new, right? This is all new. What's that?
Assuming that it doesn't get a rug pull on it, like that in a bear market, these 10 coins here that we see here in a bear market, they don't get all the people who have invented these don't get all freaked out and just.
These are more gaming though. People are actually using that.
They can still.
Yeah, but these have a lot of money put behind them in creating the content. So a rug pull on these would be highly unlikely.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing. If the coin is really new and there's not a lot behind it, it's not going to make my list, just because, I want coins that I know are going to be stable.
Yeah. So Candace, Verena's asking, did you hear about DERC? I don't know whether that's spelled Dirk or Durse.
I have not heard of that one yet, but I will definitely look into it.
That's awesome.
Can't guarantee it'll be on the list next week, but you never know.
Yeah, and then Panda's saying Engine still looks like a buy. You'd say that would be the case, Candace, since you put it on the list. These are all buy opportunities, potentially. Not financial advice, but these are potential buy opportunities.
Well, I'll give you right now 100% disclosure. Out of everything on this list, other than, I own Ethereum, but I do own Engine. I've got some Engine sitting on one of my exchanges, and I'm happy with it.
Okay. Genuine is saying Hidden Gem Starlink, STAR and capital L. Have you heard of that one?
That's the isn't that Musk's and the
that's
satellites?
Yeah, the satellite internet.
I mean, that's a no-brainer to me. That's just a no-brainer to me. I mean, I still remember the story of my daughter being up at our cottage in June and seeing a row of lights across there, finding out that it was all of the Starlink going across the sky, and it's just he's going to do it.
Right. The only thing is that if there's a star L, like in the form of a coin, it doesn't really absolutely have anything to do with Starlink per se. Yeah, they're just using the name to capitalize on it. So I'm weary when somebody's using a name to capitalize on something else, like, for example, using Elon's name or that.
That's where you got to go into the developers.
You may get a pump initially. You may be able to make quick money fast, but there's a big danger there, a huge danger that's going to crash. It's not going to amount to anything. So I would be very careful with Star L for sure.
If you look at the website too, I think Candace hit the nail on the head. It looks completely like they're borrowing the name. It's exactly like someone naming a token called the.
Yeah, and they just had a huge pump too.
So Star L is a caution behind that one.
It's a huge caution.
I think the recommendation from the panel is stay away.
Okay.
Or at least do your own research and look into it and prove us wrong, right?
Yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all up to you.
Reddit.
Yeah. And if you decide to go against our suggestion and try it, just make sure that you can afford to lose what you're putting into it, because you may lose it.
$118 million trading volume last 24 hours.
Wow.
If you want something a little bit more speculative, there is the Star Atlas metaverse game coming out on Solana, but the problem is it's still very, very, very early times. So they don't even have a viable working product yet, which it is what it is. But everything in terms of their marketing looks really good. Their website is really, really nice. So hopefully they can pull it out. I haven't invested in anything yet because, again, no product. I'm not putting any money in. But it is something that I'm watching. So if they do launch, I'll definitely be an investor.
So, okay, that was really good. I love this conversation. And yes, Candace, I think because everything we're seeing now is all this metaverse that's hot. There's conversations about AR and VR. So I would love to know your top picks every week and we'll check where the top 10 is and see if they've shifted. Question, because I'm really dumb in the gaming world. Haven't really done much of any of that. If I wanted to go to my neighbor Alice, do I go to a website? Like where do I go to go and play that game?
Oh, that is, they do have a website for it. So if you were to do a search on my neighbor Alice, it will actually bring you to the website, and then that will direct you on how to purchase their tokens.
Oh, okay. So I'd have to purchase the tokens to play the game.
That's right. Yeah, you have to put a certain amount into it. Just like if you're going to play a regular game, you have to buy the game to get in. Same kind of idea with these. You have to pay to get in, but then once you're in, and because you already put an investment in to pay to get in, then you can start earning by doing things in the game. So, for example, when you're in the game, if you're going to buy a farm, you're going to pay in Alice, of course, for that farm. You're not just going to, you won't just have a farm.
Okay.
It's it's very much like real estate. It's like you purchase it, you make improvements to it, then you can.
So it's like Decentraland 2.0 kind of thing.
They're all sort of in that same vein, because you're going in, you're creating something, you're improving it, you're letting it get more valuable, because there's only a limited amount of land in all of these games. Right. So that's why the land keeps on going up in value. And
Haas brought up something, and Haas, I'll just come back to you for a second. You brought up something that was interesting in Zynga, and I'm just wondering why they kind of started it on the apps, and when the App Store came out, so on and so forth, with farmland and all this and that. Are they in this space too with coins, or are they sticking to their lane with what they're doing on the App Store?
I'd assume in some capacity, if I'm not. I'm probably very wrong in saying this, but I believe Zynga has some sort of Facebook ties, maybe not owned by Facebook, but definitely a good relationship with Facebook. And Facebook seems to be pretty gung-ho to get into the meta space. So I'd expect that they're already planning something, a corporate giant like Zynga. But that doesn't mean that there's not enough room to make some money for a lot of other organizations. Like, this is a massive marketplace, especially now. Through COVID, a lot more people are home a lot more of the times. A lot more people are addicted to their phones a lot more than they were a year and a half ago. The landscape has dramatically changed for gaming, and for all generations too. It's not just the younger generations now. A lot of people that grew up, like for my generation, they're all 30-year-old gamers, right? And that's how it's just going to keep churning out. And I just think that this isn't going away. The marketplace is huge.
So how, if I was to try to decipher this is probably no damn different than trying to decipher which stock to buy, which coin to buy, all that stuff, which game to get in. Like that, all of those are kind of fascinating. And I think, okay, I don't know that I would be a gamer per se, because I barely have time to do what I've got to do in a day now, but I would be curious to go in and play with it. Like, I was fascinated by Decentraland when you showed us that. So I'd be like, I'm actually curious to go and try Alice or Realm, or just to see what they're like. But if you get going down one path, how do you decide where should you spend your time? Like, Realm to me seems like the obvious one, because I could earn something just by looking in there, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Oh, keep in mind too that, let's say you aren't even interested in gaming, you can just buy the coin and then sell it once it's gone up in value. So it works the same as other crypto in that sense. Okay. But I think when it comes to, if you're going to actually go into the game and spend time in it earning money, first of all, pick something you're interested in. Like, if you love the farming, go to the Alice. It doesn't have to be which one. Like if you're not like into space, for example, don't go to UFO.
Right.
It just really comes down to personal choice. And at the same time too, if you're hoping to get land and you don't have a lot of resources, you probably want to choose one that's a little bit newer and where the coin's a little bit lower. So that way there you have a chance to actually get in there, buy some land and let it go up in value. Whereas a more established game that's been going around for a while, that land's going to be, well, it's going to be rather expensive compared to a newer game.
Yeah. Oh man. See all of these things.
So I got a question, and I don't know if anyone can answer this on there, but there's a lot of money spent with video games, the programming it, the building the platform, so on and so forth. Given the technology that we're talking about in the metaverse and stuff like that, is it on the same level, more intense, more involved, or cheaper because it's in a different space? I don't know. I'm just looking for opinions and anything that anyone knows.
All right, let me give you a good answer.
Okay.
If you look at gaming, it has always been a multi-billion-dollar industry. There's billions of dollars moving in and out. All of the games have had their own economies. We'll use World of Warcraft as an example. So when World of Warcraft came along, a lot of people played. They had millions and millions and millions of people playing. They had an economy within the game to the point that people outside of the game were actually employing people to go into the game and mine gold and farm gold so that they could then sell it for real world money. Yes.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That's
Wow.
not even World of Warcraft specific, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's happened in like World of Warcraft, Eve, you name it.
Yeah.
It has happened.
Any MMO that has a major economy, there is gold sellers and real life people, and sometimes there are like crime syndicates around these places. It's crazy.
It's
It gets
absolutely.
nuts.
So here's the point. People who in these games are willing to pay real life money for currency that has absolutely no value outside of the game. So that's where this whole thing with the metaverse is changing everything. You're going to see a point where the games like World of Warcraft are going to have to move into the metaverse, because why would somebody spend all their time and effort trying to farm money that doesn't actually exist when they can go into one of these newer metaverse games, put in the same amount of time and actually be creating value, creating income in the real world. So it's completely transforming what games are.
Interesting.
And, the word professional gamer is not going to be who's the best at the game. It's going to be who's the best at making money in the game. That'll be what a professional gamer will be in the future.
Yeah.
So it's transforming everything. And it's going to be, well, we look at robots taking over jobs. Well, the metaverse is going to create a ton of jobs for anybody who just wants to play.
So over the shutdown, all this and that, I don't know if I can say the whatever on here, but so many people are out of work and no one's going back to work, and some people throw around the concept of, so all these people who aren't working, what are they doing to make money other than their CERB or whatever the case is? And now it's kind of making sense that this is where, at least for us in the when we were off and we couldn't work and so on and so forth, that we got involved and understood the alternative space being Decentraland, the metaverse and stuff like that. This is starting to make sense where if robots are going to in the real world replace people, then those people have got to go somewhere, and it's the metaverse.
Absolutely.
I never made that connection.
Yeah.
I made that a few weeks ago, and that's why I couldn't sleep, remember?
Oh, you're gonna see a day, and it's not that far away, where when you go into the job ads, there will be ads for metaverse jobs.
Yeah. Completely.
It's coming.
Wow.
Speaking as like a lifelong gamer, someone that unplugs themselves from real life to go into a virtual space, I can absolutely see a reality where that is like people will absolutely opt out of the real world to go into virtual. And if they can get paid a lucrative amount or even more, just enough to survive, a lot of people are going to make that choice to go virtual. It is something that's not 10 years away, but it's something in our future. It is coming.
That scares me, Hawes, in the respect that, does that make us an antisocial society? Does that play immensely on our mental health?
I think that box has been opened since we brought out the internet and mobile phones in everyone's hands and everyone's stuck on social media. I think that the whole social aspect is out of the water. Whatever happens next in our future is just the natural progression of that technology taking over.
And we've already got the framework down. And if you can work in the metaverse, you can get everything you need in the real world delivered to your house. The framework's all there. Amazon can have it to you next day. You can even order you can order everything. Even the grocery stores will deliver groceries to you. You don't even have to leave your house.
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking when we were talking about this, about all the conversations I've had with all my girlfriends who have children that are similar age to my kids. And it's the funniest thing. I was thinking to myself, they all complained about their kids being gamers. Oh my God, this kid's never going to amount to anything. All he does is game all the time. Yep, those are the ones that are going to be making the money. Like, that wasn't in anybody's realm of thinking. Like, I had an aha moment one night. I came home from work and it was late at night and my son was in his room and I could hear him in there on his game. I don't know what he was playing.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Okay. He had everything. He had a headset. He had things. And I was actually in the bath, having a bath, drinking a glass of wine. And I was listening to him talking through the wall to his friends. And so I'm just sitting there listening. There was an awful lot of strategy that was going on. They were having conversations over about, okay, we're going to go in this room. You're going to come from this side. I'm going to come from, they were talking about strategy. And I actually talked a lot of my girlfriends off the ledge and said, wait a minute, I don't think we're looking at this quite the same way, because how do you teach kids that level of strategy? You can't. And they were doing it completely unsupervised. Like no parent was in there telling them, okay, you guys have to create a strategy to get, they just did it. And so now it started to make sense that you fast forward this out, and this is amazing, really amazing when you think about it.
Oh yeah, and just think right now we're using VR goggles. Eventually we'll be able to actually have even more experience to the point that we'll be able to inhabit a hologram's body within the metaverse. Yep. And from our perception, it would be like we're actually there, completely actually there.
The big thing to keep in mind for everyone is that we are so early to what Candance is saying. Like, we're not even there with the technology yet. We don't have the equipment to completely immerse you into it. It gets pretty good. I've done some VR, but it's not the complete experience and it's not affordable for everyone. But eventually, in the next coming years, it's going to happen.
That's funny you say that too, because even with, like, I think back to the beginning of this year and seeing the introduction of Decentraland, like seeing the demos and seeing the advertisements and seeing the flowing videos and how it was very archaic and pixelated, to now, if I go to Blocktopia, it's like a real flowing, it looks almost like real people, and it's not. And it's just in that, I mean, just in demonstrations and what technology could be, it's like that is what technology is going to be, not what it could be. It's what it's going to be. We just go, oh, that's some fancy artwork and stuff like that. Not even putting it together that's going to be reality in the not so distant far future, not so soon.
Well, even take sound. Earlier today, I was listening to some, I think they call it 8D or 5D, something like that. But it's music that if you close your eyes when you're listening to it, the way they utilize the right and left speakers, they make it so that it sounds like the singer is moving completely around you. Like you can hear the music coming from here, then over there. So it's actually, you feel like they're right there and they're just moving around as they're singing to you. So it's amazing.
Oh, so it goes back to what we were saying about, to Tim's point, are we going to feel less connected? Or I don't know about you, but over the last 18 months, I actually feel more connected on some ways with more people than I was before. I feel like I can see people in this kind of a format, have a quick visit and then get off. I feel like we've had a meaningful interaction. and then I don't have to drive anywhere. I can have my glass of wine here, and and enjoy their company, but not have to worry about driving home. And you can see multiple people in a day. So I also feel like when you talk about not being social, how is it that we've created a community, starting with, meeting Ryan and the Nickel and Dime crew, and then meeting all of you and Haas and Candace and all the people that we've met and the Bitcoiners and everything else? I would never have done that. That would not have been something that I would have gone up to random strangers and said, "Hey, do you want to have weekly chats about our finances?" Like, that would not have happened.
Good point.
Like, it never in my realm of thinking would I say, "So should I take $500 and put them into this Kitty Inu?" Like, that would never have happened. And there was no realm that would have happened in my former world.
Right. But when it comes to social, you got to remember that the social that you're going to have within the metaverse, your body will have the same reaction. So hanging out with your friends in the metaverse will cause your oxytocin to rise. It's already been proven. Like, you take a video game right now, just a regular video game like World of Warcraft. Let's say you go in and you make a character that you're playing every day, and the character's name is Grog. Well, anytime somebody actually says Grog, they've actually shown that that's probably Ken's name in the game, but they've actually shown that when you hear that name, your brain actually fires off the same signals as somebody saying your real name.
Right.
That's how connected our psychology gets to these things. And once we immerse ourselves completely in the metaverse, you'll be able to have all your social needs met there. You won't need to meet real people. And at the same time, this is going to help curb climate change, because people won't need to be driving. People won't need to be flying. All of these things that produce all that CO2 is not going to be needed anymore.
Well, you're right, Candace, because we talked about, when I was telling my girlfriends this whole scenario, like, even when you look back at one of those videos where you felt like you could be in the same room, like even the holographic experience of feeling like you're in the same room. I think I gave this as an example last week. Think about virtual dating. So say, I was going to go out with Haas. We were going to go on a date, but I didn't know Haas. Haas didn't know me. We met on one of these match.coms. I've never been in there, so I've been with him so long that those didn't exist before that. But say I was unsure about him and he was unsure about me. We could have a virtual date. It would feel like we were sitting in a cafe. Mm-hmm. We could probably even have like a menu come up and order a coffee that would be delivered or some kind of meal. And then if we really didn't like each other, we just hit escape. then you're done. And you could keep doing this for a while until you felt comfortable enough to meet the person in live and in person. Like, you think about this, it's actually quite brilliant, and it's not far from what we're currently doing.
The building blocks are there. We have NVIDIA doing amazing things with their chips, making things look extremely realistic. We have the new, was it the Unreal Engine? I can't remember if it's Unreal or Unity. I get them mixed up all the time, but it looking like absolutely fantastic, like the lighting, everything. I think back to like when I was a kid and who I grew up with, like the kids around me that I grew up with. And I know some of them. I don't talk to them. I don't like hang out with them anymore. We were the best friends as kids. Some of my longest relationships are all met online. I've driven to the United States to see people. I've known people for over 17 years. It's insane. The connection that you can build online is sometimes far greater than the in-person connection. I feel way more connected to some of my online friends than I ever will some of my real life friends, quote unquote, real life. So.
Well, and we were talking about it on Friday night on Ken's little live chit chat, and which is open for anybody to jump on and just talk about whatever you want. Marie Claude,
talk about this and that.
We did talk about this and that. Marie Claude came on, and she was saying that she's seen us more than she's seen her other friends. So it was sort of it's true. I technically for this last for 2021, I've seen you all more than I've seen most of the other people that work, other than the people that work with me. I've seen you all more than I've seen my own mother, for heaven's sake. So
Yep.
It's just bizarre, but it's been fun. So I don't know. There's a lot to this that I think. I was even thinking that even that video, the ad that came up about the exercise and what that's going to feel like. I personally don't love exercise. In fact, I detest it.
Yes, metaverse muscles. Yes, please.
No, but you think about, you put those things in your hand and it looks, and you put your headset in and it looks like a lifesaver, because I am as competitive as they come. You don't want to play games with me. I am competitive. I'm competitive in my work. I'm competitive. You put those lifesavers in I could see myself, like, I could see myself getting in there and doing that, but that way more than I can see myself running on a treadmill. You know what I mean? But you give me something where I think I got to fight a bad guy. I'm in there.
Well, with that amount of aggression, I think you would be the bad guy.
Yeah, and one little bug. Guess who has to go and get the bug?
Anyways, but I think this is going to be a fun 2022, and there's so much about this that it makes it exciting to be alive at this point in history. If you see it as such, if you see it as, oh, my world is going to be horrible, and my world is, I'm not going to be social, and I'm not going to be this, and I'm not going to be that, or you could look at it like dwell in the possibility of what it could be, and it's exciting. It's really exciting. Anybody want to change the topic, or are we happy with this topic? Dead silence. Nobody wants to change the topic. Sometimes we like to talk about other things, right, Ken? Because Ken, you've been pretty quiet tonight.
Yep. Well, I've been quiet, all right.
Oh, jeez.
You got nothing to say in the
Hawes
meet.
on. I thought Hawes would be doing a lot of talking there because it's been a while since he's been on.
Well, I know.
I've been saying, let's get him back on. Let's get him back on. I like listening to his content. I have coffee with him every Saturday morning.
You do. I really appreciate you coming in every Saturday.
You got to give me some help here, because I'm getting worried about my bag of Ethereum.
So I'll be 100% honest with Ethereum. I've never been the biggest Ethereum bull in terms of like where the smart contracts can go, which platforms could potentially be better than Ethereum because of gas fees, everything else. There's much more scalable platforms. Not saying that layer 2 isn't a factor. I don't think Ethereum is going away. I think, in my opinion, it's almost as solid, if not as solid as Bitcoin. Some people might be upset with that statement. I mean, take it with what it is. I don't think it's going anywhere, is my opinion, but I'm not putting as much stock in it on other things that I think could go higher in terms of ROI. But then again, I'm taking a little bit more risk in my portfolio. So there's a bunch of those aspects, but I don't think it's fundamentally going anywhere. Sure, we could see a correction. It's held pretty well at the levels that it is, but could always go down further.
Well, that's the one thing that I was thinking, is that it's been on a steady, for most part, steady climb. It hasn't really had a major correction, and you know, it's like, oh, and then all of a sudden you think about, wait a minute, it hasn't had that correction like Bitcoin's had the correction, right? Like I'm sort of, I get the Bitcoin, I get up and down and this and that, and Ethereum, I just like, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop on Ethereum, and it's like, what do you do? What do you do? Because I'm certainly not going to listen. Sorry?
I think that might be because Ethereum is being used for everything every day, where Bitcoin really isn't being used for as much. You know?
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah. You know, like Bitcoin's being used to pay 10% a day. Ethereum's being used for 90% of everything. So that could be keeping it in that kind of steady realm.
And that's the thing. Ethereum is the big market player. Gary's saying talk more about ADA futures. I'm going to talk about the smart contract future and the future for what's happening with smart contracts, NFTs, DeFi, and everything else. It's going to be blockchains like Cardano, like Polkadot, like Solana that really start filling out that space. And again, I said this early on, even before the market started popping off in 2020, even before the market started popping off into the new year. I said that this bull market, whatever happens in the next year, isn't the big event that we're waiting for. The next market, when there's mass adoption, there's dApps out the wazoo with all these platforms. Like Ada just now got smart contracts. We're so early on in the game with a lot of this stuff. And everyone's talking about it as if, Ada is going to crash tomorrow. Like we saw eToro drop Ada, and now all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, Ada is garbage. Sell your Ada for this token. I mean, I'm not going to crap on anyone that does short-term trades or anything like that. If you do that, that's fine. Some people have a lot of success with it. I don't. I look into a project. I fundamentally like the project, and I invest until the moment that something in that project tells me I need to get out as an investor, which is very rare that I get out of a project unless like it's a rug pull, there's some sort of FUD, I made a mistake with my initial analysis or something along those lines to get me to pull out. I'm not just going to pull out because an exchange pulls them. An eToro exchange that not many people that I know really use. Fundamentally, I see where Cardano can go, especially for NFTs, DeFi. Same thing with Solana. Solana has been doing great in terms of the blockchain. I really like the DeFi on it. It's not as decentralized as other blockchains, but it runs very smooth, even smoother than Matic at times. So really happy with that blockchain. There's a lot of room in the space for a lot of this stuff to grow. I think we're just super early on with all the smart contract stuff.
I like what you said about that. We haven't seen like hold on to it because it's what's going to happen after this bull run. And I think people are so short-term focused, mainly because of listening to other people and not knowing or having not knowing the coin perhaps, and not seeing the vision and not understanding it. Right. So, it's true. It's true. You do, like, I mean, we have Bitcoin, we have ETH, we have this and that. And we've struggled. We have honestly struggled on whether to take the profits or whether to just let it and just go right through the next cycle and just let it keep going and going and going and going and going. So, and that's where the maturity comes in. And that's where, you've got to say, yeah, but it's what happens after this big crest. And we come into,
you got to remember there's a lot of layer 2 blockchains being built on Ethereum, which causes the gas fees to be lower, which will cause more volume on those particular blockchains of moving that ETH back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So,
completely. And that's why ETH is never going to go away.
Eventually, right?
Like all of that stuff is like tried and true. As much as you can't believe the financial institutions like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and all of that, Goldman Sachs actually hit the nail on the head with Ethereum being a good store of value. In terms of everything with the London hard fork and eventually your Ethereum 2.0, the burn rate, it is going to hold a good amount of value in the future, regardless of whether or not it's the most efficient blockchain. I don't think that fundamentally matters for a blockchain like Ethereum. I don't think that's the problem that Ethereum is trying to solve. The subchains, the layer 2, is the solution to some of those problems. And then there are other blockchains that run fundamentally quicker. We have XRP right around the corner with Flare, Songbird being the Canary network coming out. And like, again, we're really early. Like, we don't even have all these products out. Half of the games that I look up are all in progress, like not fully done in any way. A lot of the blockchains are that way. A lot of DeFi platforms are that way. A lot of things are early launches. Like we're so early in the game, and I think people look at everything like I missed the boat, right? You'd be saying that if you saw Amazon at $23 and then it's at $300 and you're like, well, I missed the boat on Amazon, better not buy it. That's what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, no, it's so true. So here's a burning question for all of you, and you could take some time to think about it, and we could even think about it and then come back at it again. But the question that I get all the time from people, because they obviously, and all of us would be getting this now because we all have our own little YouTube channels. People go, well, what is crypto exactly? And it's having that answer that you could answer to people in a succinct manner, that in a succinct, I'm not saying that word right, but
I think
Yes, succinct. God, that word just sounds horrible in my
God,
head.
do you know how many times she's going to say that
Oh
now
my
before I have to turn the
God.
light out tonight?
Anyway, so
Oh, dear God,
Succinct, honey.
the dog's going to be barking.
Yes. Anyways, in a manner in which you can say it and not go down a massive rabbit hole. Because Haj, you must experience this. Candace, I know you guys must experience this. And with it being, we're not in the US, but we're coming into the holiday season. We're going to see friends and family. And of course, they always come at you from a negative point of view. So how's that crypto thing going? It's only criminals use that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't open the jar.
I had so I went fishing recently, and there's like an older generation that I fish with, and there's one guy that was really hesitant to Bitcoin, hearing that I was in Bitcoin, and he's like, I have 20 bars of gold, and that makes me sleep just fine. I'm like, what, that's great. There's nothing against your gold. I think gold and precious metals are one of the best assets that you could hold. It's hard for me to explain it to people, because how I try to simplify it is, it's a digital based currency with the trust built into the code, rather than just we trust a piece of paper because we trust our government. So I try to explain it that way. But then people are just like, well, why don't I, like, what means, like, why does it have any value then if it's just backed on code and trust? I'm like, well, why does any currency have any value? And then it just goes into the, whoa, man, like you just blew me, right? It doesn't give any tangible explanation. So for me, I find it a little bit hard to describe to people that they understand, unless they have some sort of like background in like digital money, I guess, in cryptography, or they just watch a couple of YouTube videos and eventually get the bare bones of what blockchain is, right? So
yeah. No, I know. And Sarai just said the same thing. It's hard not to go down that rabbit hole. There's just too much development and excitement in this space. So it's like difficult.
When, like, think back when the internet came out and somebody said, oh yeah, I bought shoes on the internet, and think of how ludicrous that statement sounds to someone back then. Like, what? You purchased like sneakers, like shoes off of the World Wide Web? Like, that's a ludicrous statement back then. Now it's like, I bought shoes off Amazon. They're here tomorrow, right? Like, that's so normal to us right now. That's in my opinion, it's just a matter of time before everyone else catches on.
No, you're right about that. Because I remember being at the Royal Bank. I was working at bank by phone. I worked the 9 p.m. till 2 a.m. shift. Really strange people would call at 2 a.m. I'm not going to lie. And so, but I was one of their nighttime supervisors. And so I would keep a running list of what kinds of things that they had suggestions, services that they wanted. And so this guy used to call in almost every night for a long time. And then finally, I'm like, he kept saying to me, I just want to put a sell order in. And I'm going, yeah, but the markets don't open. So there's nothing we can do for you right now. You're going to have to call when the markets are open. And his response to me was, he's like, no, you don't understand. I'm watching the Nikkei. I'm like, well, how are you watching the Nikkei? Because like at that point in time, this was going back to 1995. And he's like, oh, I'm on the World Wide Web. And I said, the World Wide Web? What the hell's the World Wide Web? And I had to write it down, World Wide Web. And he's like, the internet. And I'm like, nope, don't know what you're talking about. Had never. So he's explaining to me what's happening and how it's this whole thing. And he goes, I want to know when the Royal Bank is going to let me do my own transactions on the internet. And I had to write that down too, internet. And then I had to equals World Wide Web. I had to write the whole thing down. And I was at a department head meeting, and the VP at the time, he said, you mark my words, the Royal Bank of Canada is never going to give their customers that much access to their own banking. I'm not sure about you, but I go into the branch very rarely now, and I do everything.
Yeah.
Or Tim does everything on the internet.
Yeah, it's true. Like that's just how things are going to go. People are going to deny it and say, there's no way. There's no absolute possible way that I'm going to buy milk and groceries with some sort of digital currency that's nonsense. Like, why would I ever do that? Get paid in nothing? I'd rather get hard paper money. Give me that cold paper money. That mindset's going to change one day.
I know. And to think we might be able to pay for our milk and our sugar and our eggs, maybe from money we've earned in my Alice, my friend, my neighbor Alice's, because I grew some cabbages that somebody wanted, and then I've got money to buy my own cabbage in real life. Could happen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're going to be able to swap any currency for any other currency and go feed your family. This is what we're talking about.
I know.
This is the reality. If you think about it now, to cap off the possibilities of the metaverse and people working, there are, like, right now, Venezuela, their economy is being propped up by an MMO, RuneScape, old school RuneScape. They have a bunch of Venezuelans in this game. They are starting gangs and fighting against people that are, like, attacking Venezuelans. They're coordinating together to make more gold, to sell it on the black market, to feed their families. It's wild. It's insane. And it just makes sense that this is the next step. So
that's amazing. This is all just amazing. I love this conversation. Hey, do you want to see something funny?
Hey, I got to know, first of all, hey, Ken, do you get that jar of pickles open yet?
It was spaghetti sauce, not pickles.
I could see that. And you know, the thing was, he sat down, he went, did I get any of that on my arm?
No,
it was see him in a half Nelson up against the wall going.
No, there was it was wet here. I don't know what it was from.
Anyway,
I still couldn't get it. I had to bang it with the butter knife.
We heard. I had to put you on mute. I'm like,
you know,
what's happening?
You can't even over pescetti sauce.
Okay. Well, I came back and I'm like, oh yeah, I did mute it. Okay, this is good.
No. And all we hear is bang, bang, bang. And Oz is trying to speak, so I'm like, mute.
I'm gonna have to get the stool to get that off the ceiling.
That's okay. So we got a nice little gift from our kids. Our daughter was here on the weekend, and she and her boyfriend, Trevor, had brought us a gift. Do you guys want to see our gift?
Sure do.
It's
coming around the corner.
In Canada, 1,000 subscribers. We both have our shirts. My daughter said we actually feel a little sorry for you. So they had these shirts made for us, and we cracked up laughing. I go, don't feel sorry for us. We're like the nickel and dime crew exonified. One little subscriber at a time. We're like the little engine that could, the little YouTube channel that could. Anyways, on to another fun topic. I know that Christmas is around the corner, and I know that a bunch of people are probably wondering what to give our friends and family for Christmas. So put a lot of thought into this, and I know Candace and I are going to do a little video together on it, and I've got something coming out. But why not give your friends, if you've enjoyed this community as we've enjoyed for the past, we're coming up on 12 months of this. I guess we're at 11 months now, and so I know I showed this before, the Candlestick Confidential, and it's just a place for us to, it's like my purple book of ideas. It's just a place to do your investment watch list and all the rest of it. But at the very back of the book is I ended up putting in the QR codes for the channel, the people that are on this channel. So there's Ryan's QR code for his channel, us and Candace's, and on the other side, you'll wait till you see this, there's the Haas Hodls, so, and the Canadian Bitcoiners and Nate Palmateers. Ken, you didn't have a YouTube channel when I did this.
That's just fine.
They will find you when they come here. But I'm looking at this like this is a gift of community. So if you've got friends that are giving their New Year's resolution that they want to have some kind of a finance, they want to focus on that, this gives them, it's a really inexpensive little book. and there's very little profit in it, but it's more just about getting the community so that you're getting them out and letting them know that there's a community of people that will put their arms around them, will give them some guidance. We don't provide financial advice, but we're good people to talk things through. And
this is where you say
whatnot.
the link's in the message below, right?
That's your job.
Okay.
But there's a bunch of different ones. Like if you don't like this one, there's the financial diet one. There's that one too. And of course, I had to do a purple book of ideas because that's just how this goes. I don't even know where it is. Maybe it's not in here. There is a purple book of ideas. The purple book of ideas. I did a plain one for the guys, but this one is for the gals. And then it says ideas worth exploring. So, like it's good if you want to give them, if you want to give somebody a nice gift, I would highly recommend one of my faves is the Bitcoin Standard. And then try to think outside the box, because if you think about how much fun, that's a whole year's worth of fun that we had with this community. So that's enough for the plug. And Tim's right; the link is in the description below. Haas, I bet you didn't realize that you're now published.
Had
in a book.
no idea. Yeah, had no idea. That's awesome.
That was a present I was waiting to give when you came on the show.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
And but you think about it, we're all Canadians just helping each other out, basically.
Yeah, completely. It's a big community, and I think we're just all trying to stumble along together and kind of learn what's happening. Like everything's just changing so quickly. It's so hard to keep up front with everything. Like a lot of times, I'm getting so much stuff from the freaking Oracle Vapor. I'm getting all kinds of stuff from them. Just always giving me like new things that I haven't even heard of half the time.
You got to look at SataMask.
I know. Well, they're just loading that up too, right? So
yeah, it's in Certic now. So
yeah, a lot of good things could be coming for that. A lot of people have been asking for a wallet for Satama for a while, so it's good news for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's amazing. So next week, we're just going to wrap it up in a few minutes. Next week, don't forget, December 1st is our very, very, very first live virtual networking event. I'm going to have a link in the Facebook group shortly so that you just have to click on it and you can go and come put yourself on camera. We'd love to see you. Make sure you use your YouTube handle name. Otherwise, we're not going to know who you are. Hi, I'm Bob. Okay. And we're hoping that I know Candance and Ken will be there. I know Ryan's going to be there, and Tim and I, of course. Haas, we hope you can join us, and I think it'll be a fun night. It's really super easy to do. It's just a link. You'll take your picture and you put in your YouTube channel nickname, and then you have complete control to go around and meet each other live. You just move your little icon. The
you
heads
move from
touch.
virtual room to virtual room, or
Very cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
You choose where you want to go.
Oh yeah, and you can have private chats. Candace and Ken did that, and they locked me out, and I was trying
to. A kitchen in there, because that's where most parties happen.
No, we don't have a kitchen. I can't figure that out, but you know what?
That's true, though. A lot of the good conversations happen in the kitchen. That's
right.
Yeah.
I'm suspecting they're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why
wings.
all the traffic, right? Some people just transitory come into the conversation. Then there's the collective that's there for the entire one.
Yes, no, you're right. I suspect this virtual networking is going to be taken over on Sheeb's tail, but I could be wrong.
Very cool.
Ken thought it wasn't a tail. He says, no, that's something different. And I was like, no, that's its tail.
Mind out of the gutter, Ken.
That's right. No, he thought it was the rocket ships.
The rocket ship. Elon Musk's rocket, right?
Yes.
Or Jeff Bezos' rocket. If you saw that, there's nothing more phallic in the world, I swear to God. But
that's true. Caesar has one question before we go. Okay, Oracle, what's your coin of the week? What are you focusing on? Are you on Satama?
No. I announced last week there that Taziki coin was a rug pull. Apparently the original dev is back, who actually sold it. He denounced it. He's back, and he might be trying to get this all straightened out. So I'll keep you updated as I hear about that.
So was Taziki a pick of yours?
No, it was one I was watching though.
Oh, so do you have a new coin you're watching?
No, not really. Just that one. I'm waiting for Saitama. This whole Saitama thing is just, I got my blinders on just on for Saitama right now.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Haas, have you got a one coin that you've really got up there as your hot watch list?
I can't say one coin, but I am like way more attuned to the metaverse lately. Over like I'm looking at my portfolio, I'm like aggressively invested in a lot of DeFi areas. I'm on a variety of different DeFi platforms, but right now, like my exposure to the metaverse is I have a little bit of Engine, some Mana, and some Gala, and that's basically it. So I really want to kind of get more exposure into that space. So I there's not one token. I definitely want Sand. I don't know why I've like slacked so much on Sand. I've talked about Sand like a number of times on the live stream, but just haven't gotten around to buying it, unfortunately, which that's just me.
It's number one now. You have to buy it.
Yeah, I know.
That's right.
I know. I'm so late to the game. I've been talking about it for weeks now. So.
And Candace, other than is Sand your number one pick right now?
Well, I would say that if you really want to get a solid shot into the metaverse, go with Sand or of course Engine. I just absolutely love Engine. So those would both be solid picks for sure.
Yeah. Excellent. Well,
hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What do we think? We haven't talked a lot about this lately because we talked about gaming and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on Theta?
There's a lot of power with decentralized platforms like Theta. I think Theta just needs to grow. I don't think Theta's fundamentally going anywhere. Unless another platform comes along that does something better than what Theta's doing.
Okay.
I don't see it. It's like any other platform, though. It really requires the social drive and the people using it and the people creating nodes so it runs faster. But we're seeing now, I think everyone can agree in this political climate, and no matter what side of the aisle you're on, right or left, wherever you land, I think everyone can agree that censoring what's on our media is a danger for the population in general. I think a lot of people can agree with that, just that statement in general. And having decentralized platforms that people can just freely upload to, it would be beneficial in the long run. So I see a value in that. I don't know if there's an immediate shift to go to Theta, but I see Theta down the road having a purpose and having a place in the market. So
it's amazing.
Cool.
Okay, so in light of it being the night before American Thanksgiving, and our friends down there celebrating what they're thankful for, I'm going to say I'm so thankful that I have all of you, because this has been a great night tonight, and it's been a great year. Actually, I've been looking back on the year and thinking, Tim and I wanted a project that kept our minds occupied through the pandemic, and this was a crazy notion for us a year ago, thinking about doing this, and I'm so blessed and thankful that I have the ability to talk to you all every day, both the ones that come on our stream and also the ones in the chats. You guys have enriched and grown up Tim and I in ways that you'll never know. And we thank you so much. And thank you for joining us tonight. It's been really, really great. Hope to see you next week for a little bit of Crypto Night in Canada and our virtual reality. Thank you, Ken, Candace, and Haas. A pleasure as always. Have a good night, everybody.